Kiss. Keep it simple, stupid.
Tell me, boy.
I'm paranoid, I'm paranoid, I'm paranoid, bitch, I'm paranoid, I'm paranoid, I'm paranoid, I'm paranoid, bitch, I'm paranoid.
Testicles, 1, 2, testicles. Welcome back to Paranoid Radio Podcast. This is the best show with the best content for the best listeners, and I am the humble host, Trebles Garcia. Welcome back, everybody. I want to thank God for allowing me to be here today and every single one of you for tuning in. This is an amazing episode lined up for all of you guys on a Friday episode. Check this out. This is a second dose of greatness this week. Now, the world is tamed by man-made oracles, man-made religions, man-made perversions, man-made languages, and man-made translations. It is impossible to believe that the most published book of all time is the one true guide to ascension after it's been altered and translated over 30,000 times in the past 2,000 years. Plenty of spirit guides have came and gone. Influences have become history and tradition and culture. Most Catholics in the Latin community can't even tell you why they are Catholic. Yet it is also wrong to challenge their beliefs. Remember, even the Bible says, and I quote, "Cursed is the one who trusts in man," end quote. Unfortunately for them and most doctrines out here, today I sit down with a renegade, a man with ambitions that meet no limit. He's a light warrior, a personal friend, a video and sound engineer, JB from Renegade Family of Light Instagram page. What's up, dog?
Nice, brother. Good to be back. Excited to chop it up today. It's a big one.
Now, if you, for the people that do not know you, please explain what is it that you do and where they can find you.
Truther, Cabal Seeker, Destroyer, Renegade Family of Light, name of the page. Been around a long time, been deplatformed, deplatformed, start up again. So I've taken my hits, been on the battlefield. I'm a patriot. I love America. I love God, spiritual person, and have a deep connection to my creator. And I'm not here to change anybody's faiths or beliefs. I'm just here to destroy religion without any apologies.
Absolutely. And challenge reality one episode at a time. Today, we're going to be talking about, we're going to be dismantling the entire idea, premise around the Bible, about this guide, this book that comes at you from 30 different freaking ways, 30 different languages, originally written in Latin, in Greek, and Aramaic, and then directly translated to all these Germanic languages, Spanish, and now you have all these kings and queens that have touched it and altered it because they wanted to rule with the power of their thumb, and they wanted only to make sure that people followed what they really benefited from. Now, JB, please open up the gates of hell with the Sumerian tablets, bro. I know you have a lot of information you want to bring out, dude. What is
gates
it?
Of hell.
I know, because even that, dude,
I'm not opening no gates of hell.
Even that, the Bible states, the Bible doesn't state that you die and then you go to heaven and then you go to hell. You actually go to a waiting room waiting for judgment. Now, this is in a religious premise, again, a religious world, if you follow the Bible to the T. But please, dog, I know that Sumerian tablets are the origin of this story, right?
We got, there's a lot to cover, and we're just going to try and take a couple of things here because it's such a massive amount of information to discuss. But I wasn't aware of this until not too long ago. The Bible, like the Sumerian tablets are dated thousands of years before the Bible was written. So they come before the Bible, and they're etched in stone. There's not anything to get around the fact that the stories in these tablets are the same stories that are in the Bible, but just altered and adjusted to fit the Bible's narrative. So, because they believed in more than one God, they had more than one gods, but the stories are the same. Like you have Noah's Ark story, you have the flood, you have Adam and Eve, you have Cain and Abel. So you've got all these stories that came, but the Bible is claiming to be the first book and claiming to be the word of man and of civilization, of the earth, the universe. And there's plenty of history and information that predates all that. So it's like you just logically, you got to say, okay, so these stories came from here. They took these stories and then, turned it into there. It's not about like bashing it or trying to change someone's faith or religion. I just think religion overall has just been a man-made construct that has been benefiting, profiting, and controlling the people for thousands of years, and they are only they're hiding things and they're plagiarizing things, and they're claiming it to be their connection to God. So it's the priests. These things have to be looked at logically, because you can't just dismiss it, and you can't just say, well, because it's the Bible and it's this. You have to be willing to question everything. And if we've learned anything in this world to this point, is that every single authoritative institution from the history of time has always been corrupt, has always been corrupt to the people. You can go back forever, and every time a big institution of authority is in place, governing, whatever it is, religious, they're corrupt, and people suffer from it. So you can't just blindly follow what these institutions and religions are telling you is going to be the absolute truth. Like, you're going to hell if you don't do this, and you're going to heaven if you don't do that. It just doesn't make any sense.
Absolutely.
Does it make any sense when you really look at it from a logical standpoint?
I absolutely have to agree with you, because there is a point where you're just fucking dumb if you allow a priest coming down to your door, knock on your door, and tell you, I need you to give me your firstborn son and 2 sheeps, and then you'll need to give me a cow and 15% of your freaking of your income, and then half your crops back then in the day, in order for your family members and your grandfather to make sure that he makes it into the gates of heaven. So they were selling salvation. They have been doing this in many different ways. They just tell the same different story, and they apply. It's like slavery. Slavery is still very alive today. The NBA, they're freaking slaves, bro. All types of colored people. I mean, unfortunately, all types of sports. They're just a bunch of dudes under contract that they need to perform like fucking monkeys and gestures for all of us. And the same thing with all these doctrines. This is why the Protestants separated from the Catholic Church, because they were against that. They were against the perversions of it and the man-made little nitpicks, the little things that only makes them get wealthy.
Like you just mentioned, the sacrifices and all the bloodshed. And even when you talk about like the Jesus and the Son of Man, and he sacrificed his only son, it's like, what was to be gained? What was the point of all that? What was the point of, like, if that's your only son, having him suffer on the cross for our sins to be forgiven? But what came out of it? Nothing was changed. There was no salvation. It's not like anything. It only got worse from there. Yeah. The war started. The crusade started. So everything in the Bible has been kind of like God punishing people, God wiping people out, and then people, murdering each other in the name of God. And he's supposed to be the all-loving, all-forgiving, all-knowing being. And to me, that God does exist, but it doesn't exist from the Bible's version, because the Bible's version is a version of a man. It's a version of a man on a throne with a beard, and he points, and his storms, and the lightning, and he punishes you, and he tells you not to bite the apple, and then you bite it, and now you're cast out of the garden. And if you don't say this is, worship me, you're going to hell for all eternity. And it's like the God in the Bible is like a man. He's like a power-hungry man who's like a narcissist. He needs you to worship him. He's jealous if you don't. He's vengeful. That's not the God that I have a relationship with. And so it's not blasphemy. It's just like, what kind of God are we really considering to be the all-forgiving, all-loving being that is depicted in the Bible? Because I don't see it, and I don't see the logic in it. Because, like, I was going to ask you, I was going to say, or anybody in the audience who has kids, it's like, if you have children or if you have parents, you love your children, and your child's 2 years old, and your child's going to make so many mistakes and be a brat and be and just be difficult to, and you're going to tell it no, and it's going to do it anyway. What would you do to your child? Like, if you said, don't touch this, and they touched it, and that was it, permanent forever? They're going to be suffering because that child did against what you told them. So would you do that to your child? So you think God Almighty is going to do that to us? Like, he's supposed to be so much more above us that he would be beyond the scope of needing that to be obeyed. If we're capable of seeing past what a child could do, because we're children to the eyes of God. So we're going to make mistakes. We're born this way. You're born in sin. And so then why did God create us? If we're born in sin and we're born bad, then that's his creation. There's no logic in any of this.
It comes around as if he needs prayer. Now, I'm not bashing on God here, but this is two men talking about what it can be. he needs his elixir. He needs people to pray for him and worship him. And we're a worshiping race. We are meant to worship something else or something. And quite honestly, this is like putting a cap on God's power, on this divine creature, on the divine creator's power.
It's
putting
making him human. It's making him human.
Exactly. And then the idea of even aliens being demonic entities, right? To me, aliens they're not demonic entities, and I'm not going to break my head over if they are real or not, because I do believe in them. But I'm going to say is, if God put the power, he has enough power to make us bipedal in his image. Why can't these other aliens look in his image? Why can't he make other races in different planets from different galaxies? Why do you have to put a cap at the center of the universe on Earth in this little dome? Why do you want us to include us? Why do you want to make us feel so insignificant? You know, they make us into this tiny little thing, and then they make us feel powerless. And what I mean by they is the structured religion, a man-made religion. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yes. I mean, think about religion in and of itself. If you talk to Christians, and this is not against Christians, but if you talk to Christians or even Muslims, like we'll just use Christians for example, like they're doing everything to follow the rules because they're scared about going to hell. They're in fear. They're practicing this religion out of fear because they don't want to be left behind. They don't want to miss the rapture. They don't want to be sent to hell. They don't want to make a mistake, curse, be a sinner. And if and you have to do it at your last breath. You have to, you profess Jesus as your Lord and Savior. If on your last breath, if you don't, then you're going to hell. No matter how good you are in life, you could have been a saint, and if you didn't do that one thing, you go to hell for eternity and burn and suffer. Mm-hmm. And they believe this, and this is how they're operating. Because I had a friend of mine who's a born again Christian, and I told him, I said, I told him my philosophy, and I said, nobody goes to hell. Everybody is going to make it back to the source at some point. Some people, it's going to take a long, long time to come back because of the karmic debt. And I'm like, but he goes, everybody makes it. He goes, everybody goes. He goes, so then what's the point of doing all the good stuff? And that answers my question exactly, because he's saying, why should I be good if I'm going to go to heaven anyway? So it tells me you're only doing these things because you're scared about going to hell. You're living in fear. So if if you were free and you could do whatever you want and know that you were going to heaven, none of these people would be following their rules. They'd be making sins and doing whatever they want because they're like, oh, I'm going to heaven anyway. So you're really not practicing it out of love and out of really compassion. It's like you're just doing it because you don't want to get in trouble. Mm-hmm. So that's a big reason that people do this.
I have to agree with you, and I also have to add on. So for example, you live in this fear mongering, this low level frequency already. You're already scared as it is. You're behaving in a certain pattern, right? Because you're afraid of going to hell. But you forget. Now, I'm not, again, I had to do the different studies of the Bible to try to understand this. But there was 39 whiplashes on God's back before he got crucifixed. And there's 39 diseases in the world. And upon his resurrection, he said, with these whiplashes, my wounds represent you healing from all disease. Mental disease. I'm talking about physical, anything, emotional disease, any type of disease. So if you really want to live, you're going to live without any fear because you're technically already been forgiven. You've technically already been healed, already been saved. Now, we also have to come and comprehend that we live in a simulation, dog. Even God allowing us to exist and live at free will. That is the simulation, bro. We're simulating our reality one episode at a time, one day at a time, every single hour. So, I mean, it's a difficult world out here, but this is why.
What's the point of giving free will if we got to be told, if we don't do what we're told, then we're going to be in big trouble? That's not free will. They say God gave free will. Well, because it always works in the favor when you ask them, well, then why is all this suffering in the world? Why did children get trafficked and raped and kidnapped? Why is God allowing this? Because God allows free will. God gives free will. Okay, so he's free will there, but then free will, if you don't, do what the religion tells you to do, then it's not free will. It's like, because if you tell me I have to do something, and if I don't do it, I'm going to go to hell for it, then that's not free will. That means I'm under your control and I'm a prisoner, It's like, it's not free will. So why do you call it that?
Free will. And then you have, not to bash on Catholics, but you could murder, rape, and kill somebody or rob people on a Saturday night, and on Sunday morning you go and you freaking confess to a fucking priest and you're forgiven of all sins, and then you're back
10
in
Hail
heaven.
Marys and then you're good to go. Yeah, I'm just asking people in the audience and people that are faithful, and I know there's a lot of them in this Patriot community, and I love every one of them, and I want you to have your faith and whatever you feel deeply about, but I just want people to at least question and think about parameters that they're being told or boxed into and how small they're being considered. And that's how people walk around. They consider themselves like vile dirt because they've been told that they're sinners. They've been born bad and they need salvation and they need saving. And they just robbed you of your power. And that's the whole point of religion. And the church is to take your power away and give it to them, relinquish it to them so they can control you. And when you talk about the Vatican is the richest institution in the entire world. They've got miles and miles of gold bricks in their freaking cellars, all the art, everything. It's like all the land they own. And the church pays nothing. It's the biggest profit machine in the world, and they pay nothing. So who loses if the church is exposed? The church loses, and the profits, not the people. So that's why they fight to keep you under their control.
This is how the Roman Empire diluted itself. This is how it's still in power today. They transformed themselves into a bunch of different Catholic churches all over the world. Now they're stapled everywhere, dog. There's freaking cathedrals everywhere. I'm talking about cathedrals that have acoustic properties on their walls. And these people have so much knowledge that they come and they hum. They start singing and they know how to hit your emotions, how to hit that frequency in your brain, how to not only control your emotions, but also control your behaviors and live in fear. Like I told you, bring you down to that lower frequency. This is why those mosaic windows are on the fucking walls, because the architecture, everything connects to old, ancient fucking knowledge where they have power over and dominion over the people in the freaking spiritual. They want to call it spiritual. Now you have these churches too. Now, I'm not talking shit here, but I am talking shit. Now you have these freaking people in churches that are talking in tongues, that they feel like they're crying, they're shaking, they're doing fucking everything crazy stuff. And I came from that fucking era. I came from this Protestant freaking movement. And I have to contest. I have to let you guys know that it's all a fucking mind trick. It's like you go to your therapist and you tell your therapist everything that went wrong. He makes you cry and you feel like some weight was lifted off your chest because you just spoke to somebody about your problems. That's all it is involved in mixed with yeah, that's all it is, dog. That's all it is. And then you mix it with music and emotion and somebody screaming at you.
And the crowd is cheering and clapping and you feel like you're a part of something. It's a big psychological scam. Now you're giving your money. And dude, there's people that were once wealthy, had houses, had everything. And now they're dead broke because they gave it all to the church and the pastor who's flying on private jet planes and live in the lap of luxury, scamming people. It's the biggest, it's the oldest trick in the book, and people fall for it. So that's what, this is about, just to get people to question things and arrive at your own answers. Like, don't take anybody's answers for me. Figure it out, like think about it, and then think about, like, does it really make sense for this to be the end all and be all, and for these people to be the closest thing to God? They consider the Pope to be the closest human to God is the Pope. Do you really believe this? Like, does he really look like a holy man? When you look at the popes, it's terrible, and they're practicing. In my opinion, the Vatican is a satanic church disguised as a God worshiping church, really Satan worshipers. And I'll say that without any apologies, because I already seen it. I've already seen the proof. And all the pedophiles, they're getting arrested left and right. They're all priests.
All they do is move them. They get one and they just move it to a different church 3 countries down. That's all they fucking do.
Because they can't take those hits. They hide their secrets, they lie, and they take all our money and they take all our power. But fear is the absolute weapon of their choice and manipulation. So if we can overcome fear, then you could see the truth, and they won't be able to manipulate you. And that's what religion has been. It's been one big manipulation. When you look at these emerald tablets, and you see what the comparison to the Bible, you have to question. You have to say, well, this is undeniable. These tablets exist, and the stories exist, and they are the stories of the Bible. So how is it that you can deny something like? And then what about dinosaurs? Like, they don't acknowledge dinosaurs. They just say the Earth was formed 6,000 years ago, but everything before that was millions of years. You see skeletons of dinosaurs, skeletons of giants, and you see artwork on caves of spaceships and aliens. And that's just not acknowledged in the Bible, and they just don't even acknowledge it. Like, it's not even, doesn't exist. But where did these bones come from? Like, where are these artifacts coming from if the Bible came after this?
you can't pick and choose when to follow the Bible or scripture. Of all that, I mean, we're not only talking about the Christian Bible here. We're talking about all these other books that, you know, that have the Old Testament and all, the Abrahamic religions. I mean, that should tell you everything why the Abrahamic religions have one big staple, unified three building for the world to just unite and make meetings and stuff. That should tell you everything. World domination through religion. Now
that comes from tablets too.
Yeah, and then the Jesus Christ story is also a direct replica of the Egyptian story of Horus. Correct me if I'm wrong. Is it Horus where he gets
there's
born out of a virgin mom?
2 or 3 of them. There's Thoth and Horus, and they all born on the 25th. You know, they died, they resurrected after three days. Now, don't get me wrong. Jesus did exist. He walked the earth, and because it's proven. Like there are facts, and there's a lot of there's proven facts that Jesus. But the Jesus in the Bible, he disappears at the age of 12, and then reappears at the age of 33 or something on a camel. Where was he for all those years? There's actual proof.
That's a good question.
That he was traveling, and he went to Egypt to study the meditation and study the secrets of there. He went to India and studied over there. He went to Asia, studied all that. So he was going all over for those years in developing his skills, and then came back as a master. But what he said in the Bible, he said, everything I could do, you could do too. You could do also. But they change the wording and they make it just seem like he's the only one that could do it. But no, we can do it. And he's our brother. Like if God is the Father and we pray, our Father who art in heaven, and Jesus is the Son, what does that make Jesus? What does that make us? That makes us his brother. Like absolutely. That's the way I see it. God's the Father, Jesus is a son, and I'm a child of God, so I'm a brother of Jesus. Why is it not that they don't see it that way? No, they say we're not children of God, we're creations of God. And so, you know, we call him Father, but we're not his real sons and daughters. It's like, and then the 8 billion people in this world were all created from Adam and Eve, from 2 people. Do you know when 2 people have babies and those babies have babies together, they become retarded because that's called inbreeding? You can't have brothers and sisters having babies because that's inbreeding. So how do you get 8 billion people that are Chinese, African, you know, all these different races come from Adam and Eve only? Just 2 people created. You want to believe that? Come on. So
it's absolutely, you
have to question it.
Yeah, and then you have the misinterpretation of the Bible where people decide what books to take solid and literal and what other books to take as a poem. Again, because it only benefits their point of view. And again, it only benefits how much money is coming into their freaking pocket. That's how it is, bro. It's broken down to only what benefits you. Greed. And it's one of the biggest sins in the world. It's one of the biggest sins of all emperors. This is why all empires have fallen down. This is why every single king has failed, because of greed. Power hungry, dog. So money is the root of all fucking evil at the end of the day.
Yeah. And the thing is, these kings these Bible has changed over and over and over again from these kings because they don't like the way it's written because it doesn't suit their narrative. So they make the priests change it. Then you got the King James version and this version. It's a man-made book. It was written by men. And so men are faulted. Men are by design, you know, corrupt, whatever, because that's what you're saying in the religion, any of that, we're sinners. So it was written by sinners. So how could you consider they were ordained? You know, they were ordained. The priests were ordained by God.
Yeah. I agree 110%. And this is a very, very interesting topic because a lot of people move and they conquer. The Catholics went on crusades because they wanted to, you know, chopping people's heads off because of what they believe. And still to this fucking day, dog, there's people getting murdered. Holy wars. How do you go to war? How do you kill somebody and then go to heaven? It doesn't matter in the name of what you do it. You do it for greed, bro.
The jihadists, they think if they blow themselves up and kill a bunch of people, that they're going to be rewarded in heaven with 13 virgins for all eternity. That's what they believe. So, and that's a holy gesture that they made, blowing themselves up and killing a bunch of people.
Word.
So I mean, it's radical, and that's what it comes to that. And if you get so offended by someone saying things and it bothers you so much, then that means you're unwilling to question and to test it, or to have to be willing to at least test things out against other things to see if it holds up. I have my beliefs and I love my beliefs, but if something shows me that my beliefs are wrong, then I change, because I want to, as life goes on, I gather more information, I learn, my beliefs are going to change because I'm learning more, and it's like I'm getting more information that shows me that this was kind of not exactly true, and I kind of go in here because now this fits in with everything else that I've learned. So you should be changing your beliefs. Beliefs should not be a permanent thing. People hold on to them forever.
Moving on to ascension, bro. So instead of us dying and our plasma, our spirit moving on to the next realm, what is your belief on ascension, bro? Not to battle Christianity or any freaking religion at this point.
No. I mean, listen, ascension, it's a beautiful thing. It's like I'm a deeply spiritual person. I'm deeply connected to God, my spirit guides, angels, archangel, Jesus is in the mix. And ascension is,
and it's intimate. I assume it's intimate.
Ascension is when we evolve as a person and as a society, as a people. We evolve to where our consciousness is raised and expanded to where we are no longer divided by good, evil, black, white. Like, we now see the universe as one. We are connected as one, and we
earthling problems
can create as one with the soul creator, because we are created from the supreme creator, from God. I am created from a piece of God. So there's a God that lives in that. My spirit comes from God. So whatever God is, I am too. So I am that I am. I am that God is. God is that me. I'm just wearing this shell of a physical body, but my spirit is from God, and my spirit is perfection. And when I leave this body, it rises. And life is eternal. We are eternal. We have these lives for lessons and experiences. Just think about this. So let's just say, as a spirit, and you say, even in Christianity, you die, you go to heaven, permanent, forever, your eternal life, and you're having the best time of your life, and you're perfect. So now think about, like, you're perfect for all eternity. That's great and everything, but doesn't it get a little bit boring after a while being so perfect? Wouldn't you want to experience life in other aspects? So you say to yourself, I want to see what it's like to go through a life in a physical body and have to fight
reincarnation,
and not know who I am, and have to figure things out. I want to test myself, and I want to experience this thing called life on Earth. So you join it, and you come into Earth, you incarnate, and now you feel it, and you're in the darkness, and you have to make your way back. So who cares? You got all of eternity to learn these lessons. When we're done, it's going to seem like a dream. Like, we're going to just wake up from the dream. This is how I see it. Like, we'll wake up from the dream, and they'll say, okay, so how was it? How was your experience? And the angels and everybody will look over my life, what I did, the karmic debt that I created. I did some wrong over here. Maybe I have to come back, which we've done over and over, to settle the karmic debts. And it's been kind of a perpetual loop that even the dark forces have kept us in. So now we're coming to the end of that. And now when we say 5D and the ascension, and the rapture and the Christ consciousness, the Messiah coming back, the Messiah coming back is us waking up and becoming the Christ consciousness.
Yes.
And us becoming what Jesus said we would become. We would be just like him. So we are going to rise to that and realize our full potential. And so that's ascension to me.
Absolutely. You know what, bro? I like the way you put out this thing. God created me, a divine creator created me. He is inside me and I am him, the universe experiencing itself. And quite honestly, bro, this is why you have the evil entities and the elites of this world trying to hack your DNA. They not only hack, but they also encode different types of DNA so that you stop and you're disconnected from this divine creator and the divine creation that you are, your power, the power to manifest, the power to create, the power to transform not only other people, but yourself into the next level of dimension, the next
realm. They changed our DNA. They like, when they created us, they altered our DNA. Like, let's just I'm just speak straight with you, not even pretend. Like, when the Anunnaki laboratories of Eden created Adamo to be a slave race, we became, we were created in their form because they had to take us to term and give birth, because somebody had to do it the first time. And so they realized how that we were so, like, powerful that they were scared we were going to become such a rival to them. So they altered our DNA. We used to have a 12-strand DNA instead of a 2-strand helix that we have now. So they shut down the rest of our DNA so we couldn't tap into our true potential and powers. But it still exists in us. We just have to reactivate it, and it takes ascension to do that because you have to do it spiritually and internally. But it does, it's there. It's just not active. But they were scared that we were going to become a rival to them because we were so special. That just tells you like what we are capable of and what they've done to keep us under their control, keep it all hidden from us.
I hear you, dog. What are your final thoughts for this amazing episode, JB?
I'll make a quick analogy, my fish tank analogy, and I'll just ask a question. For that, I'll say, like, when you compare like a human and God, like in normal sense, like God is vastly superior, infinitely knowledge. Like we can't even comprehend how amazing and infinite God is, and us in our physical body, limited mind. Would you say like we are like comparing a goldfish to us? Like Einstein to a goldfish would be like comparing a human to God, and not even that. It'd be worse. But is that safe to say?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right,
You're
so
talking
like,
about.
Let's just say we're the goldfish, and God is like Einstein, us. So now we have a goldfish tank that we created. We created the tank. We put the floral in there. We put the water, the gravel. We put the fish in there. We created this ecosystem in this tank in our home, and now we put the fish in and everything, and they're swimming around doing their thing. Now, are we going to stare at those fish and expect them to worship me as their creator, expect them to listen to my commands, expect them to understand how I think, understand who I am, and get mad at them when they don't, and punish them when they don't? Like, it's a goldfish, and I'm the supreme creator of that goldfish and their world that they live in. I created it all, and I'm enjoying watching them. But am I really going to be angry and upset for the goldfish to not understand, to worship me and to give themselves to me? No, I'm not. Are you? So why would God do that?
Sounds a little narcissistic. Sounds a little narcissistic.
Yeah, it's like, how is it logical that a supreme being of that nature has these jealousy and vengeful feelings that they need, and they get angry when we don't listen to them? It's like, how evolved is that? That's like it's not very evolved. So
and it's a repeated story. It's a repeated story. Zeus, according to Zeus,
from the Greeks,
Zeus, right? See,
the Vikings have Odin. Odin.
Yeah.
So, and it's the guy with the beard and the muscles, and and casting lightning. If you wanted the final thoughts, I would just say the best thing that you could do on a daily basis to evolve, to better your life or yourself, is very simple. Just be in the present moment, at least at some point in your day. Be still. You could be driving in traffic. Be still. Be quiet, and just breathe and think about. Like, let it not even think, but just absorb everything around you. Be in the exact moment you're in. Like now, hear the birds, feel the sun, feel the wind, and it's all and realize it's all created by God. And everything we see, touch, and experience is all a creation of God. And how beautiful and how blessed you are just to take a breath. Just take a deep breath and realize how sacred that is, and be thankful for it and give thanks for it, and watch how good you feel. Watch how your problems fall off your shoulders.
How thankful you feel.
You become so settled in that you're calm and you feel just relaxed and you feel loved and safe just in that one moment. If you did that once a day, every day, and just made a practice of it, your entire life would be transformed. You would appreciate, and gratitude is the most important thing. Like love and gratitude are the two most important emotions that you can make. That brings abundance. When you're thankful for what you have, the universe gives you more. And when you're fearful of what you have or don't have, the universe feeds the fear. So you got to stop. You got to eliminate fear. Fear robs you of your power.
Yeah. Yep. You
so
attract.
It's very simple.
I feel you. I hear you loud and clear. You have to attract the positivity in life. We mentioned this on Devolution 2, where I said, I'm going to go back to what I said. I said, you cannot be speaking negative about anybody, specifically about yourself, because your body doesn't know the difference of a joke or anything. You only speak positive about yourself. I am the best. I will do this. I get to go to work today. Not I have to go to work. No, I get to go to work today. It's a different mentality when you wake up with that processing and with that energy energy, with that positivity in your mind, it starts creating a ripple effect around you, not only with your family members, but the people that you interact with on a daily basis. You could be in the car with that energy across town. Somebody will feel that energy. You just pass by that car, bro, and that person automatically felt that energy and vibe up, and they take it home. They take that vibe home. This is why they say always keep your negative energy from home, at home, or work, keep them separate, because you cannot get affected. You cannot, you can't affect business. Treat your life like if it's business. Treat your life like if it's something that you're gonna conquer with, something that you're gonna benefit from. So quite honestly,
practice that. Beautiful.
Yeah.
We're gonna get into some conscious episodes too. So this is the
sure.
first of our monthly sit down for the I don't know what we're gonna call it. We're gonna call it the Galactic Deep Dives or the Galactic Truth Bombs, but this is gonna be the beginning of a new show that's gonna be on, right?
JB, you're going to be on the first Friday of every month with your own series every single Friday, the beginning Friday of every single month. You're going to have the Galactic Reports, obviously, and then we're going to talk some Ascension stuff, but I really want you to bring in those heavy bombs and let them know where they can find you one more time. Renegade Family of Light.
Right over here, Renegade Family of Light, Instagram. Come see me. If you have any questions about this episode, you're upset, drop it in the DMs, drop it in the comments, drop it on Paranoid Radio, drop it on Renegade Family of Light. Let's talk about it. There's no ego and there's no taking it personal. If you're upset and you want to talk, got something to say, just lay it down. We could talk it out and just we'll come back next time and we're gonna have something else to talk about, and we're just trying to learn and trying to expand ourselves. So, and we hope
by all means
enjoy the ride.
By all means, make sure you bring us some topics and bring us some, challenge what we said with your own research and your own beliefs. This is what we want to interact with you. Now, make sure you check them out at Renegade Family of Light, Renegade _family_of_light. Renegade Family of Light on Instagram, and also check him out at the Fail Academy podcast. Even though he's not active anymore, I'm trying to make him get active again. But
and Rogue One Media, if you need any media work done, Rogue One Media. But you can check that out on the Rogue One Media page. But yeah, we're pushing the Family of Light, and we're getting the truth out there for this audience.
Thank you so much, JB, for joining us one more time, bro. The doors here are open for you always. And ladies and gentlemen, make sure you check us out at paranoidradio.com. It's now absolutely on again at 25% capacity. Now you're able to watch the episodes every single week for free on the website. So you don't have to go to Rumble. You don't have to go anywhere else. Everything's at paranoidradio.com.
Nice.
And also make sure you check out Renegade Family of Light on Instagram. Thank you so much. Drop a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts that allows other people to enjoy the show as much as I enjoy making it. Peace out.
Peace.
Paranoid Radio. Paranoid Radio, Fright Fest.
Kiss. Keep it simple, stupid.
Paranoid Radio.
Testicles, 1, 2. Testicles. Welcome back to Fright Fest. This is Fright Fest actually number 2. Welcome back to Paranoid Radio Podcast, ladies and gentlemen. And joining me in the 1s and 2s is the best co-host on the motherfucking planet. Long gone, long slung, King Cock himself, Big Tank. Welcome back, Big Daddy.
Salute. It's good to be back, big dog. What's up with you? What's cracking? What's bracking?
First of all, I want to thank you so much for joining us again. People fucking missed you. I got a couple people letting me know where the fuck is Tank? Why is he shooting blanks? And I told him, dog, why are you always talking to me like in poems? And they're like, dog, it's Fright Fest. We got to make sure that we fuck up the rest because we're the fucking best in the West. I was like, damn. All right.
I had to go ahead and pull that bitch.
Mm-hmm. So the problem here is that we have the second dose of Fright Fest for you on this amazing Oktoberfest. This is our third annual Fright Fest extravaganza here at Paranormal Radio Podcast, and I am the humble host. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Trebles Garcia. For the people joining us today that do not know who we are, this is Paranormal Radio Podcast, the best show with the best content for the best fucking listeners, you, the probers, the probe nation. And we have amazing content for you guys every single fucking week. And this is our third annual October Fright Fest. We have an amazing episode lined up with amazing content that's going to blow your fucking mind, literally, like the brain outside of your sockets, out of your fucking mind. Now, before anything, I want you to take 5 seconds to go to Apple Podcasts and drop a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. This allows other people to enjoy the show as much as we enjoy making it. Massive shout out to every single collaborator this fucking year. Season 5 is turning up a lot, and you could catch us slipping at paranormalradio.com. It's now 25% capacity. You can only stream free content. You can listen to the shows on the go. And you can also watch our episodes, our 2 most recent episodes, absolutely free. Make sure you check us out at paranormalradio.com. Now, ladies and gentlemen, a paywall will be coming up. If you want to check out every other episode and watch us on an unfiltered, unedited, and unbothered episode, all the other episodes, I'm putting up the archives for $1.99 a month. You're going to be able to catch all of our content, previous content, collaborations, special guests, and banter, and bullshit talks with Big Tank, wearing the funniest clothes, our work uniform, fresh off the bat in the most seclusive areas in the world, which is inside our cars, and from the ghetto to the brand new style of recording this episode.
In my office, big dog.
Absolutely. So make sure you know, and make sure you check out Los Cuñados Buddies. This episode is brought to you by Los_Cuñados_Bullies. That is right. Big Tech is in the motherfucking house, and I'm pulling out my fucking notes. Now, please, ladies and gentlemen, please allow me to jump in from the deep end of the pool and set the fucking mood. This bitch is insane.
Wait.
Oh, here we
go on. You're opening the vaults, big dog? You're just gonna open the vault?
Yes, we're fucked up hookers. No, we're old hookers. If it makes any sense, we're getting shit together, guys. Paranormal Radio Podcast needs to get fucking monetized. Somebody told me we need to get monetized. There's a lot of people fucking supporting us. And if you guys want to support the show, we're only asking you guys to fucking share the fucking show. Stop being a punk. Stop being a douchebag. Slap that ass and pass it to the next one. Lick it and pass it. Lick it and pass it. Now, Big Tank, are you fucking ready to jump in this bitch?
Let's fucking do it, big dog.
The bitch is insane. Dude, we can now sell our soul using art, but even better, via sacrifice of other people and other people's body parts. Liver, guts, teeth, skulls, and even young children's tongues are used as cleaning scrubs in the art depictions of this character. This is just a shallow, murky, and muddy and bloody beginning of her unrivaled story. Next to Albert Fish and Aleister Crowley, Marina Abramovic takes the entire cake for the best Satan worshiper and author of lies in modern era occultism and satanic worship. Welcome to Abramovic. Just in case you guys don't know, the name Abra in Abramovic means the father of many. In Hebrew, Abra means father of many, aka Abraham, Abra. And she is the spirit guide of many worshipers. So I just wanted to bring those little 2 connections in there. It's fucking wild. Cultist behavior up the wazoo. She is the queen of cultic behavior. And this bitch is fucking like a wizard. She knows all her math, recorded like she acquired all this alchemy knowledge, and she knows how to ground herself with the earth to take the next steps to become an energetic field and spiritual guide. Big Tank, do you want to come in with some bombs or what's up?
Shit. Okay. So she's the queen of the king from down beneath. Let's put it the nicest way.
Yes. If I have to imagine, because we're gonna get into some fucking dark thoughts of Abramovic. If I had to imagine Abramovic being a dark fucking witch whore, this bitch is the type of girl that be sucking it so hard that her mascara runs out, and then she's like, and then the guy's like, tell me that liquor, yeah. And he's like, hey, dude, tell me how much you love me. I love you.
She sucked the soul out of you, big dog, straight up.
Performing her art. Check this out, dude. I'm just gonna put this into context. In the early 70s, she would go on stage and she performed this thing called Rhythm Zero. Check that out. It's one of the most famous fucking performances. And she would perform dark rituals inside of pentagrams and literally cut herself on stage, commit atrocities to her toes, like breaking them and licking the back of like her nail, like ripping off her nails and putting them in her mouth on stage. In 1974, she stood up in front of dozens of observers and laid out 72 objects on a table and asked the audience to inflict her with pain and quote, I am the object, end quote, and told these dozens of listeners, and she just stood there. Now, this happened for fucking, I think it was 16 hours. Correct me if I'm wrong. The first time, one of the fucking things that they did was in the beginning, the first 2 hours of the fucking session, the people gave her a rose, gave her kisses, they gave her compliments. And then it took somebody very nasty to come through. They came in and started fucking, they ripped up her shirt. Her titties were out. And she let this happen. She was responsible. She was liable for all atrocities done to her body. They cut, then finally, with her titties out, they cut her neck. They cut her nose. They cut her jaw. All right? They stabbed her with the fucking thorns of the rose in her gut. They draw pentagrams on her belly button. All right, bro? They pinched her. They bit her. They fingered her. All right? After her tits were exposed, they would get the butter knife and they scratched enough deep fucking cuts in her neck until blood would drip down to her breast, and then they drank her blood in front of everybody. She cried and screamed, and then she was presented as the war god in front of the people. She was crying, she was demolished, she was destroyed, and she almost lost her life. Rhythm Zero. You gotta go check that shit out. That's fucking wild. And this is not
nuts, bro.
Nuts,
That's
dog.
fucking, okay. That's some next level shit. That's some gory shit, to be honest. I mean,
Yes.
okay. I understand. Let's put it in this generation's perspective. It's doing it for fame. It's doing it for the gram, per se. You get me? She took it to a whole new level, and she was like, "Oh, fuck this! I'm gonna do it like this. I like it like this." Boom! Here it is, exposing it out for everybody. Everybody was just taking a turn. Oh my God!
One of her handlers told her, if you would have left it up to the public would have shot you. They would have killed you. Because on the 72 items, there was a fucking revolver with one bullet. So if they would have kept going, maybe 30 more minutes in that fucking ritual, in that humiliation ritual, they would have shot her. They would have killed her. And then nobody would have been liable for it. It's fucking wild, dog. I mean, think about it. Now, I have way more to tell you.
Okay. So the whole mentalism behind somebody doing that is just fucking crazy. Okay. I think, I don't want to say everybody, but I could sort of understand a emo child, and I'm gonna use that real contextly, when you see some people cut themselves to a deal, and
I hear you.
it's to a way to release emotion, to get, they don't want to feel the numb. They want to feel some type of something, just because their world might be closing in, type of deal. Cool. And I could be wrong. Everybody does it for different reasons. But at the end of the day, this wasn't for numbness. This was for her own twisted pleasure, even though it was through pain.
Yeah. Or even gaining status. She probably had to do some fucking deep ritualistic shit to get the status of Master Witch. And the reason is this. As soon as she was done with this fucking Rhythm Zero ritual attack, ritualistic occultism fucking practice, after the humiliation process, a man came all dressed in black and gifted her a golden triangular shaped necklace and then gave her a kiss in the cheek. And that's when she started bursting out crying. As a matter of fact, shortly after that, she also put herself through, listen to this, she put herself through 3 abortions for the sake of her art. She reportedly mentioned that each time she aborted, it was a piece of an art of her own canvas, as her body is the canvas. What the fuck? She did live performances with Jay-Z, fucking Lady Gaga. I think Lady Gaga fucking worships her. And then she also left Lady Gaga in the forest naked, alone for days, and Lady Gaga had to make her way back. And I'm talking about Lady Gaga worships this fucking demon. And when they see each other, they go head to head and they put their forehead together and they kiss each other. Like, this is wild, bro. Like, she is a priestess.
She's been everywhere throughout every industry, well recognized, and she's been literally posterized. You've probably never even noticed her, to be honest, but she's been at every single red carpet event. She's been at almost every single concert. She's hugged and kissed a lot of your favorite actors, musicians, everything in between. That's how crazy her connection is. so deeply rooted, and they all seem to have a acknowledgement for her. I'm not gonna say it's good or bad.
Respect. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, something's
Uh-huh.
heavily cemented there, where she has this uncanny power because she comes out in everything. If you look at your famous actor, doesn't matter. It could be somebody as nostalgic in your eyes as Johnny Depp, Robert Downey Jr. Um,
Ah,
so many, so
The
fucking
Rock.
many.
Yeah.
She's been there, hugged, shaking hands, whatever you want to call it.
Yup.
Oprah, absolute everybody. And like you said,
Yeah.
Jay-Z, Beyonce, Lil Wayne. We've
These are the
had,
people, yeah. High
yeah,
people in high ranks in their own domain.
yes. If you coincidentally find somebody that's not attached to her that you could
Hmm.
think of,
Uh-huh.
it's because they haven't basically made it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the only reason. But if they have some type of status within the Hollywood industry, within the music industry,
Yep.
she will be there. 99%.
Yes. And now, not to make this conversation political, but she has been, I want to say, reported to be in connections and in cahoots with the Clintons, specifically Hillary Clinton. Now, check this out. This is this thing called spirit cooking. Now, this is alchemy. We just did an episode with Juan on Juan podcast that's dropping next Wednesday. And he went in
Fire.
deep into alchemy. And it's fire conversation. Juan Ayala mentioned spirit cooking, and now we're bringing in spirit cooking again in this episode dropping today. Spirit cooking is the big one, dog. Check this out. This art, this art has installations with glass floors where people are masturbating, glass floors where people are masturbating and practicing sex magic, usually using bodily fluids like sperm, urine. Now technically when a woman squirts, it's urine. Then now we have classified that as urine. The nectar of pussy juice, period blood, pregnant women and baby feces, breast milk, and yes, the old baby famous truffle butter. Rubbing it on their bodies as they were climaxing. When you're walking, you're on a glass floor and you're watching this shit happen underneath you. Followed up by taking people to a dining table where we have mutilated body parts and they're presented to you on a large table with real human bodies. And then you have people on poles dancing and as an art exhibit where celebrities and actors like Jared Leto, the fucking whack ass Joker, Lady Gaga, the Kardashians, the NFL, and the NBA players, Tom Cruise, elite Scientology church ministers, Hillary Clinton, and the Podesta brothers are included. Now, I don't know if you know about the Podesta brothers, but the Podesta brothers were in the middle of that whole Pizzagate scandal with Hillary Clinton back then in 2016. Funny child porn art and the Balenciaga commercials, et cetera, et cetera. So it's very interesting to see all these elite people fucking connected with her. Now it gives us to show them, even it pushes us to think, and I want to say conspiracy theorize that she's also a spiritual guide to elites in the political sphere. I think she helps elites people get fame, wealth via spiritual practices that are deemed taboo in today and unconventional in today's pop culture. So this is something that you could really fucking tangible fucking touch up on and say, hey, there's too many connections here. What the fuck?
Okay.
She even wrote a book on spiritual authority, bro.
Yes.
Listen to that, spiritual authority and how to fucking have people. And the book now kind of, it gives you recipes. Yeah, it gives you a breakdown and recipes on how to spirit cook with different foods so you can use them as aphrodisiacs. Like food that gets you hard and horny. She's a fucking sex freak.
If we want to talk spiritually, a lot of stuff, and I mean a lot of stuff that we do is somewhat a descendant of rituals.
Yeah.
Okay.
Even the what's it called, the Last Supper? You eat the bread, it shows Jesus Christ's body. You drink the wine, it's Jesus Christ's blood. Cannibalism, to a sense, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Everything rooted to back in the day to what we think it's normal now. It's a form of a spiritual ritual that you just might not think about. A lot of the words actually depicted throughout the English dictionary. You break it down and you'll get all these things where it's like, what the fuck is going on? Okay, so something as easy as sitting down for dinner is a spirit ritual
Yeah.
that you just don't think about.
Yes.
Also, when you're having head-end meetings, corporate meetings, you're manifesting throughout all of it. Hey, look, this is how we're doing. This is what we need to do. This is where we're going. Even in that sense, everything of that is spiritual. And this is what she focuses on. She dove deep into the past without even thinking about it or pre-planned, however you want to put it. And she's expanded on that knowledge and just bringing everything back. For example, when you have what they call the blue moon, there are people that encourage you to go out and look at it. They want you to go check out all these things. Okay.
Celestial
people
bodies.
Don't realize back in the day, it was actually brought upon that you should go out there and visit the moon as a sort of a ritual. You don't think about that right now. Same thing when you have the comets coming in that just happened 2-3 months ago. It was encouraged for you to go see these balls of fire, as they call them, and experience their magic that we just don't think about it. Why do you think they say make a wish when you see a how do you call it, a flying comet?
Or why a werewolf only turns to a werewolf during the full moon. Okay. I hear you.
So it's all these things that we've just forgot about and we normalized. Okay, something as simple as that. You have a hard day, you leave work, your wife is home, whatever it may be. You're supposed to be, by the time you're done, you get home, you're supposed to congregate and have lunch and dinner, which is something that's always been posterized everywhere. Everywhere. And this is the time that you entwine and you just get together. You tell them how everything went. You tell them, don't worry, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. You let out your problems. You're actually having a head of state meeting during that time. If you still follow those type of things.
I hear you.
You'll have people that, hey, I'm eating right now, you can eat later, whatever type of deal, or we already ate. But that's what it's supposed to be. Back in the day, that was a head of state meeting where you're manifesting everything that's going through. Everything has so much more, and that's what she's basing everything off of.
The controversial.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. You know,
she goes way above and beyond, but that's the basics of it. Something that we don't see spiritual just as an everyday thing. That's exactly what it is.
And I'm gonna give you a couple more bullet points on things that she did shit that we don't usually see. She performed for a 3-hour-long performance where she cleaned a dirty, rotted corpse from all the decay and wiped the fucking skull clean with some type of soap while all the soap and grime was falling on her naked body. All right? Type this phrase, cut into the middle finger. And then she put this phrase in her own, I think in pig's blood, and then she put cut into the middle finger and eat the pain in her own blood into a big ass white wall with pig skin, like ritualistic shit. And then she sits down on a dead baby corpses, a pile of dead baby corpses, and then she starts stitching together the body parts to make one monster baby. And then she sits on a pile of rotting cow flesh for 6 days. For 6 days, and peeling the meat off the bone while it's rotting. While it's rotting at the same time, then you have the audiences there with handkerchiefs like covering their faces because the fucking rotting meat smells so bad. And this is called Rhythm 5, I think. Rhythm 4, Rhythm 5. Hashtag look it up. That's one of her art spectacles. And then the spirit cooking thing again, this is all donated flesh, kind of like how the prisons donated prisoner bodies to Disneyland to put in their rides for the Pirates of the Caribbean. They're real skulls. Remember how we covered that shit? That's real skulls, and it's proven to be fact. So one of the largest performances was 7 hours long, where she masturbated and practiced and masturbated in front of an echo chamber, a circled echo chamber. It's called an amplification circle in front of 300 people per hour. Once she would climax and bust a nut, she would scream, and the echo would make a weird sound, amplifying her voice. And then minutes after, she would start the ritual all over again and masturbate again for 7 hours fucking long. This is called Rhythm 4, I believe. One of the wildest and one of the most craziest fucking rituals that she's ever known. This bitch is fucking crazy. She's insane. And now you have the Ukraine fucking president, Zelensky, wanting her to be the minister or administrator for the school education system in the entire country of Ukraine when Ukraine starts to rebuild. And this is where it gets a little political for me, but it's a fucking wild ride.
So it's up in the air. Okay.
Okay.
But there is beliefs. We all remember when Travis Scott got canceled because of that whole show. Okay. It's up in the air that
Where people died, right?
he sought out professional ideas, because if you saw the, how do you call it, the stage, it was in the
Mm-hmm.
shape of a inverted triangle,
Uh-huh.
and which had a lot of significant meaning, that the
Uh-huh.
crowd was a pit. Okay, like if people were gonna die to get towards him.
Yeah.
There's a lot of suggestion that he sought out help, because
The
he
artwork
thought
too,
this was
right?
gonna
On the
be, which was
posters.
his most this memorable performance. You get
Uh-huh.
me? It was
Uh-huh.
completely out of this world. It was something fucking crazy. You couldn't even see any of these symbolisms unless you were looking at it from up above.
Mm-hmm.
So there is a lot of it pointing to that Abramovich had a lot of stuff to say within it. So
Oh,
if
spiritual
you realize,
guidance. Uh-huh. Like
yes,
influence. Oh
110%.
man.
Okay. So if you realize, a lot of these tendencies that we've been seeing
Uh-huh.
happen to come from these quote unquote, what's it called? These quote unquote gatherings that we've had. Okay, I'll
Uh-huh.
give you another one. One that doesn't seem as connected, but still is the Vegas shooting off the, what is it, the Mandalay
Yeah.
Bay Hotel.
Uh-huh.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so the way it was set up, the way the shooter happened and everything,
Uh-huh.
okay, everything was facing towards them. Yeah, it could be a simple coincidence, don't get me wrong.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But almost every other time that they've done a concert, the concerts have been facing the opposite way. Okay, it was almost
Set up.
pre-aligned. Yes.
Yeah.
Doesn't
Uh-huh.
mean I'm right. It doesn't mean I'm right. It's
But
just
then we
something
have to
that's
look
been
at
brought up to
then we
attention.
would have to look at if there was a full moon that day and if there was anything special in the cosmos happening that day and something celestial to say there's some alchemy here, there's some witchcraft here, or fucking occultic ritual shit, huh? Damn.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, there's
Mhm.
so much major influence. Can stuff be a coincidence? Sure. You get me? Look, I might decide to wear blue one day, and me and Trebles meet up, and he has blue too. You get me?
Oh baby, you and me we're synchronized, dog. When I move, you move just
Common
like that.
flannel. What's the most common flannel? A red and black flannel and a white and black flannel. Most
Mm-hmm.
common flannels ever. Hey,
Right?
it has happened to me where, oh shit, he's wearing the same shit as I am. You get me?
Uh-huh.
Coincidence? Pretty sure. You get me? But coincidences are not always there. Something basically happens for a fucking reason.
Yes,
And there's
sir.
a reason
That
when
is
9/11 got struck down, all the corporates' head ends weren't there. You get me?
yeah,
It was
yeah.
all blue collar workers that died.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You get
And
me?
if you go back into history, every single time that the fucking Twin Towers when they were hit, they were always hit on a specific number. The number 11 is huge for Aleister Crowley, the father of occultism, at least in North America. And now modern occultism, as is. And then you have the 9/11 number. The 9/11 number was adopted right after the same year that the Twin Towers finalized construction and opened up to the public. So this is you call it coincidence, I call it conspiracy, baby. It's all aligned, and the number game is real. Astrological numbers are real. Billionaires and the most powerful elites, they don't study money, they study the stars, they study numbers. And what is money? Just numbers on a fucking screen. So people that study this have an alchemy and a breakdown, scientifically formatted to benefit only them. Either you could call it magic, you could call it spiritual guidance, you could call it talent, whatever you want to call it. The point here is that there's so much down to break down. There's a science of it. And this is why we are living the way we live now. Abramovich is just the tip of the iceberg. We didn't even mention the darkest shit that she's mentioned and the things in all the documentaries. So I want you guys to go to YouTube and look up at least one or two documentaries of her. And then it'll open up the gasket and then you'll see like that bitch is really satanic. And she's worshipped to other people, and she's connected with the Church of Satan. And even the fucking minister of the founder of the Church of Satan said, "I am so happy," and I quote on Twitter. He said this. He said, "I am so happy that the world is allowing their kids to worship Satan at least one night of the year." And when he said that, he meant Halloween because he did it this month. Now he didn't say dress like a witch or worship any other thing. He mentioned worship Satan one night of the year, all your children. So again, oh yeah, think about this. The children is the currency of modern day occultism. all these fucking children, all these missing children, everybody's talking about the children getting missing, eating their blood and adrenochrome and all this shit. This is all real, dog. And not only that they're missing, but their children are the currency of the world, kind of like the movie fucking depicted, of Freedom, what's it called, Sounds of Freedom. So with a closing statement like that, I want Big Tank to let them know where they can find you one last time. Woo, woo, woo.
You get the deal. Go follow the buddy page at Los Cuñados Bullies, Los_Cuñados_bully page on our Instagram. You want to check me out, catch me at EKNAT626. Once again, this is a pleasure. This is a blast. There's a lot we didn't even touch on.
Yes.
A lot we didn't even touch on. And this was just us fucking giving you the basics of it. There's a lot more shit that we just couldn't even dive into. Part 2, quite possibly. Who knows?
Abramovic 2 can very possibly be in the works with the shit. And then the breaking down. See, what we did today was mention her highlights. But we could definitely break down. We could even go as deep as breaking down Rhythm 1, Rhythm 2, Rhythm 3, her biggest art forms, her art performances, and breaking down to the T and what does that mean in the satanic world. We could even do that if you guys are interested. So make sure you let us know what you think. Check us out at paranoidradio.com. It is now free for now. And you can still check us out and watch the most recent 2 episodes on video, unedited, unfiltered, and unbothered. You can listen to it on the go, the most recent 5 episodes on paranoidradio.com. And make sure you check us out on Instagram. Drop a 5-star review on Apple Podcast that allows other people to enjoy the show. My name is Trebles Garcia. This is Big Tank on a classic episode of Paranoid Radio Podcast. This podcast is brought to you by Los Cuñados Bullies. Love you, Big Dog. Thank you for being here.
Till the next time.
Paranoid Radio.